Alright, so for this one, we're on this lesson, lesson 5. Alright, for this one we're gonna, again, same thing, we're gonna take the square root of both sides. And then we have b equals, don't forget plus or minus. And then here we have square root of negative 40. And then remember that whenever we have a negative under a radical, that turns into I. And then you have square root of 40 here. Now, at this point, I'll be honest with you. You should simplify it, but if you don't simplify it and you write your answer like this, negative I square root of 40, and then positive I square root of 40, I'm okay with this. Okay? I'm okay with you leaving your answer like this. But this one, you can simplify it. So let me write the simplified version in blue. So here we have if you look at the square root of 40, how am I going to write this? If you look at the square root of 40, it is the same as square root of 4 times square root of 10, correct? Yeah. And then what is the square root of 4? 2. So this is 2 square root of 10. You have the I and you have the negative from here, and then comma, and then you have the I, and then 2 square root of 10, and in the blue, that is your simplified answer. I'm okay with taking either of them. Oh, the blue turned into a black. Okay. Now, one thing I want to tell you is, in your answer choice, if it's a multiple choice, well, it will be a multiple choice on your test. It will be in the simplified form. But if you're here and you stopped here, you know that you can, they both are equivalent in your calculator. So like if you put this in decimal form, negative I, second I, square root of 40, hit enter, and you get this to, oh, it's already did it here. Sorry. Okay. I guess I did it in my last class. If you have negative I square root of 40, and then my simplified version here, negative 2I square root of 10, you see how the decimals match? So you can check your answer that way as well. Okay, so you don't, I honestly don't feel like you have to simplify it, but just know how to find your answer. Alright, last one. We have here square root, put it in black, square root, cancel those out. So you have z equals plus or minus square root of 72. There's no I, correct? Because there's no negative, so there's no I. So you can just leave it like this. You can say negative square root of 72, positive square root of 72. Okay? That's fine if you leave your answer this way. And then here I'm gonna talk about the simplified version. So if you were to simplify this, 72 is the same as a 36 divided by 2, which means that if I take the square root, I would get negative, so what's the square root of 36? 6 square root of 2, and then the positive 6 square root of 2. Okay, and that's that. So here's some examples for you to try. You can simplify it or you can leave it just the way it is. I don't care. That's fine with me. And the last one I wanted to do was number 6. Which one? Yeah. This one? Problem number 6, only because it has this plus 6 here. This is again just simplifying it. We're gonna get the a squared by itself by taking by subtracting 6 on both sides. So you have a squared equals negative 6, and then now I can get rid of the squared. So I would square root both sides, cross that out. So you have a equals square root of negative 6. The negative turn plus or minus, I almost forgot. plus or minus, the negative turns into a I, and then you have just square root of 6, which is answer choice C. Okay, guys? Well, let me just go through. How do you find your answer for number 5 if you don't want to simplify this? Number 5, if I take the square root both sides, so you have A equals plus or minus square root of 20. Okay? At this point, which one do you check? All I do is I put square root of 20 in my calculator. I put square root of 20. Oh. Okay. Square root of 20. Hit enter. You get this in decimal form, and then now I'm going to search for my answer in my answer choice. I can already cross out A because, you know, I don't have a negative, so I shouldn't have an I. Well, square root of 20 is not 4, so it has to be 2 square root of 5, but I'll check it. So this is, what is 2 square root of 5 in decimal form? It is the same thing. You see how everything is the same? So I know that it has to be B. A and B are similar, but A has the I, and I shouldn't have an I because there's no negative. Alright? So that's that.